even when I'm down. Got my head in the clouds and my feet on the ground. I got big dreams.
And welcome to the Genius Lab. This is Toby Christensen, your self-empowerment trainer, and I'm so happy that you're here. This is podcast number 33, based on my book, Release Your Shit and Reclaim Your Power. Today, we're going to talk about core values. And this is a subject that is really lacking in leadership training. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs or corporate executives I've asked, so what are the core values of your company, and are they in alignment with your personal core values? And I usually get this blank stare like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay? So the deal is, this is a foundational launching pad for everything about your life. Everything you do, everything you say, how you respond, how you get triggered, everything is about your core values. And it's people always talk about, we need to do a mission statement, and most of them don't even know what a fucking mission statement is. And a mission statement is based on your core beliefs and your core values. So until you do your core values, you can't do a fucking mission statement, okay? I hate taking shortcuts. The reason why most people neglect their core values is because it's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's grueling work because you have to really commit to what you believe in and what you stand for. Okay? And that's not fun. Core values are the fundamental guidelines of a person or an organization. Okay? It's like the compass by which a person makes decisions and functions. It's like the guardrail that keeps you on the road no matter what. And when you try and stray, or when you accidentally stray, or when you're not paying attention and stray, your core values are the guardrails that keep you from going off the cliff. So, there's a lot of companies that have core values and then they don't live them. There was a marketing company in Texas that I was dealing with, and they had this beautiful list of core values. But when I started interviewing some of the people, they're like, "Oh fuck, are you kidding? That guy's a backstabber. He doesn't live our core values at all, and he's the CFO of the company." So there's two things I want to talk about today. Number one, what are your core values and how do you determine them? Because I'm guessing probably everyone or almost everyone who's listening to this podcast, and hey, I'm not getting on anybody's case, because until I wrote my book, I didn't, at least the Release Your Shit and Reclaim Your Power, I didn't really focus on core values that much myself. But when I got down to them, looking at core values are the key to fucking everything, because your core beliefs, which modifies your self-esteem or establishes your self-esteem, are all based on your core values. And then your mission, if your mission is not in alignment with your core values and your core beliefs, no wonder you never get anywhere. Right? And no wonder you never achieve any of your goals, because your goals should be related specifically to your mission, which is brought to you through your core beliefs and your core values. Everything gets back to core values. Okay? Your worldview, everything that you, and the way that you function in everything that you do, your personal life, your business life, how you conduct things, whether you tell the truth or not, whether you are a trustworthy person or not, all of these things are predicated on your core values. So, big question, how do you establish your core values? Well, there's lots of different exercises I have found by going online and finding out. But I recommend just going and looking up core values on Google. Just Google them. There's a bunch of organizations, or contact me. If you go to tobychristensen.com/the-GeniusLab, one word. You will read all about my Genius Lab sessions, where I actually walk you through. I send you a list of 500 core values, and I ask you to pick 25 of them. Then throughout our work, we get you down to 10 primary core values. And then we look at your 5 primary core beliefs. Then we look at your mission, and then we look at your goals. And last but not least, we tap into your worldview. How do you see the world? What's so cool is when you get clear on your core values, all the decisions that you make, like one of my core values is fun. I want life to be fun. And it's important to me to not be, I've had so many clients and friends who have been very successful in certain aspects of their life, but who just don't have fun, and life is just fucking miserable for them. You know, one guy goes to Florida on vacation and rents this amazing house, and right on the beach. I mean, boats, jet skis, anything you want, right? He's got it all there, and he's fucking miserable because he's just not happy and he's not having fun, and so he's always worried about shit. And so the thing for me is, if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. Because I want to love as many minutes of my life as I have. I want to enjoy them all. I want to have fun. And so if I'm looking at something and it might provide some aspect of my goals, but it's not fun, I got to think of a different way to do it, because a core value is fun, and I'm not going to sacrifice. If I die doing that thing, I don't want to die miserable. I want to die happy no matter what. Okay. So what I would encourage you to do after you listen to this podcast is either look up core values or get in touch with me, Toby at TobyChristensen.com. And I'll send you a list, and sign up for a GeniusLab session, because it fucking rocks, man. And nothing in your world will be the same afterwards, because it is so key and it's so foundational that once you get it established, and it does take time. I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's not. It's simple, but it's not easy. Okay, you have a list of things that you need to determine what resonates with you and what doesn't. Once you establish that, then it's the easy part. Once you establish it, then you get down to your 10 core ones, because you'll find in your 25 that a lot of your core values overlap. Okay, you might have a certain aspect of your or a certain core value, and then some of the other core values are said. They're the same thing said in a different way. Okay, and so you go, oh well, shit, this is kind of doubling up. And so as you go through your 25, it's not that hard. It took me about a month. I probably went over that list 200-300 times, but I established my 10 primary core values. And from there, I gauge everything that I do by that list. Oh, pardon me. So think about your core values. Let's look at, I'm going to give you some examples. So if you look up 5 core values, you get stuff like integrity and so on and so forth. But integrity, honesty, drive, innovation, things like that. They're like corporate stuff. But the thing that I want to check, what I want you to do as you define your core values, or as you identify your core values, is to define them. Like, what does integrity mean? Does that mean your integrity to your end result, which means you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, like most politicians, for example? They're there to serve the people at their own gain, not necessarily from their own sacrifice. So, what does integrity mean? Does it mean the integrity of your mission, or does it mean the integrity of you towards another person? Does it mean that you will tell the truth and be straight with people, no matter what the cost is to yourself, so on and so forth? You see where I'm going with it. So another big one that I run into a lot with people is in relationships. So a lot of people say monogamy is a core value, and yet we've got a 75% divorce rate, most of which are brought about by infidelity. So what I would encourage someone to do is is monogamy for everybody really a core value, Or is it a pipe dream that you know is never going to happen? So if you take it off the table, maybe you can redefine your relationship in a way that doesn't automatically set you up for failure. So same with let's say honesty. I remember when I was in the religion business, my mentor and head pastor of a very large church, he did a whole series on relationships. Now, one of the things that you realize after you've been around a while is that whatever people harp on and go fucking crazy about, it's always their issue. Okay. So this guy does this whole thing on sacred relationships in the eyes of God. And of course, he was screwing around with like 8 different women in the congregation. And then we found out that he had embezzled $500,000. And oh shit, the whole thing went crazy and the church was bankrupt within 2 years. So yet one of his core values was living his life by the Bible. Now, the only thing we didn't do was get his interpretation of the Bible. So these are things that are really important. Is once you, once you establish your core values, define them. What do they mean? What does it look like? And then how does it practically apply? So I had a friend that had an agreement with his wife that they would be faithful to each other and that they wouldn't fool around. Well, after she had her first baby, she completely lost all interest in physical intimacy, sorry, dude. And she felt bad because she was not meeting the needs of her husband. On the other hand, she didn't want him to have a girlfriend, especially right in town. And she thought it would be awful to walk into a Starbucks and have him sitting there, hanging out with another woman. So they made an agreement that he could hire people to take care of his sexual desires when he was out of town, and he traveled quite a bit. And so it worked out really well for them. And she didn't want to know about it. She didn't want to see it posted on Facebook. He could just get his needs met in a professional manner. And it actually worked for them. Their core value was being truthful and honest with each other and meeting each other's needs. What changed was how that happened. Okay, so I'm back to the reason why I'm harping on this is because to define your core values is really important. And if you because what one thing means to one person might not be what it means to another. So spend some time identifying your top 10 core values. Then write a short definition on what they mean and how they apply to you. From there, think about 5 core beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the people around you and relationships and whatever is important to you? And also think about what is your mission. And we'll talk about those in podcasts to come. Thank you so much for being in the Genius Lab today. Remember to check out the Genius Lab at tobychristensen.com. And by all means, keep looking up.